Whether you're new to the Sound Shore or have called it home for years, Sound Shore Family Guide is here for you. We bring you insider tips on schools, sports, local happenings, and parenting in our amazing community. Let's navigate family life in Larchmont and Mamaroneck together.
Hi, thank you so much for joining us here at LMC Media Studio on the Ave for the Sound Shore Family Guide. Today we are with Amy Gross, a mom of two wonderful boys, and let's hear about what Amy has to say.
Hi.
Amy, hi. Thank you so much for being here for the Sound Shore Family Guide at the studio, LMC Media Studio on the Ave. Welcome.
Thank you.
We're going to find out from you where you lived before you moved here to Larchmont.
We were living in New York City, and my husband and I are both originally from Long Island, but we were looking to start over somewhere new, and we found Larchmont.
You ended up here.
Yeah.
And what do you do for a living?
I'm a clinical psychologist, and I'm also a meditation teacher.
We're going to find out more about that. And you have two boys.
I have two boys, yeah.
And where do they go to nursery school?
They went to WJC. Feels like ages ago.
It was.
Yes, WJC. It was wonderful.
And so much has happened, obviously, from that point. And now because you have high schoolers and actually one's graduating now.
Yeah.
Congrats, going to Yale.
Thank you.
And we also have a freshman?
Sophomore.
Oh, he's going to be a sophomore.
He is a sophomore.
Okay.
Now.
He'll be a junior.
Yeah.
Again, eventually when we finish school.
Yeah.
And so what activities would you say occupy most of their time?
I've had the joy of raising two entirely different kids. It's been really fun. My older son is a theater kid. He pretty much always has been. He needed a little nudge, but that's what occupies his time, as well as school. He has always enjoyed school. And my younger son is more of an athletic kid and has always been drawn to the sports.
So as a theater child, what would you say, like, what did he do when he was younger? What does he do now?
Sure. So when Alex was younger, we got him involved. Like, there are a lot of different leagues and sports things that are available for the younger kids in town, which is great. But he didn't love it. And I found that maybe there would be something else for him. I was looking for something else. And he did the Murray show when he was in elementary school. I think it was third grade, where they're like on the risers, but they don't have a part. And I said, he loved it. I said, why don't you do a show? And I had heard about Sandbox Theatre, which is in the community. And I said, why don't you do a show there? No. He was not interested. And then the following year, he had, like, in fourth grade, they get to have some lines,
right?
And they sing
Minor
something
parts.
here, right?
Yeah.
And it was after he did the Murray show in fourth grade that he said, maybe I will try that Sandbox thing. And it was amazing. I called Jason. I didn't know him, Jason Summers, who owns Sandbox. And I said, I know auditions are closed for your next show. You're just starting rehearsals, but is it okay? Would you consider having my son in the ensemble? And he said, of course, bring him in. And it was like a beautiful marriage ever since. Alex never left the Sandbox.
Wow.
He has done production after production there from fourth grade on. And the thing that I have always loved about Sandbox as an organization is that they really meet your child where they are. From the beginning, when Alex was too nervous to even go in the rehearsal room, they were there for him. Like, okay, when you're ready. And they knew when to push him. They knew what roles were right for him. That's something that can come up where parents get upset. Why didn't my kid get this role? Every single time he got the role he was supposed to get. So, yeah, it's been a really great experience.
That sounds amazing. And parents like you who let the chips fall, I mean, you can't be the lead maybe every single time.
Yep.
And kudos to Jason for figuring out the balance between what a child's ready for and what's good for the show as well.
Exactly.
So that's wonderful. That's great.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, he is now graduating high school. And does he worked in Sandbox and he's still working at the Sandbox and he's doing productions and stuff like that, right? I mean, he's kind of having the autonomy to grow in his own way.
Yeah, what's been amazing is, he wanted to direct his own play, and he needed to figure out how to do that. There was really no space for that at school, although the high school is amazing with the PACE program. He really wanted this to be all student-led, student-directed, no adult involved, basically. And so he started his own production company, and his very first production, Jason really acted as a mentor and really supported and encouraged my son along the way. And it was really, really beautiful. And it's kind of come full circle now because he's done 4 or 5 productions now with his company. And Dan Ferrante, who works with the teens at Sandbox, he invited Alex to collaborate on a show this summer. So Dan's adapting it and Alex is directing it for their summer rep.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. So it's been really amazing.
You mentioned that he also was part of the PACE program at the high school.
Yep.
And did that all 4 years?
All 4 years. Yeah, that's another wonderful gem in our community. It's really like a school within a school, and the teachers are fabulous, and he's made incredible friends, and the senior recital is coming up this Friday night, so
I know.
Can't believe it.
Those bittersweet moments.
Yeah.
And Ethan is your sports child.
He is, yeah.
And what would you say, and he's a very lacrosse focused?
He's lacrosse focused now, but he wasn't always. Like I said, with Alex, we explored so many of the different athletic opportunities that the town has when they're younger. And Ethan did them all. Soccer, basketball.
It's like Foster Soccer, LMBA. Yeah.
Oh, Little League, the flag football. He did that. Basketball, he did them all.
Right.
And he loves them, but his real love became lacrosse in middle school. That's when he really started playing lacrosse. And yeah, he's on the varsity team and he loves it. It's a great team. It's a great culture. He's really happy there.
Good.
Yeah.
Was there something else that you would say is a big standout from high school that you would encourage people to look into? For instance, if people are coming from Manhattan or Brooklyn or elsewhere, that you're like, really, you should check something else out. Like, what would that be?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a very unique program at the high school. It's called OCRA, and it is focused on civic research and action. It really, the kids really get not just this education, but they get this opportunity to do something and to enact change in their community, which I think is really amazing. Really, for a lot of them, helps them step out of their comfort zone. So both of my kids are part of the program. Ethan's just in the beginning of it, and Alex is finishing up. He had 4 amazing years learning so much. He and his group worked on affordable housing.
Okay.
Which, yeah, I see your eyes.
Yeah. Wow.
It was a weighty topic. It is. Right. It's heavy.
It is.
But they did a fantastic job. The mentors that they worked with and the support from Mr. Liberti, all of it comes together in such a way as to really provide such an opportunity for our kids. Yeah. It's been great.
And Ethan's doing it as well.
Ethan's doing it as well. His group just formed in sophomore year. That's when it's like a 4-step process. Each year it expands and you kind of go deeper into the process. By the end of your sophomore year, you form a group and you continue to do some more research into your topic. Ethan's working on how to help make more easily accessible and useful the employment office at the high school, the YES office.
Yeah.
And so they're looking around at other high schools. What do they do? They're gathering information now. And then he and his group will then decide, okay, what kind of project do we want to create out of what we've learned?
Well, I love it. I mean, very different than his older brother, but
very different.
But very, very useful, and good luck with that.
Yeah, I have 2 different kids.
I know.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Alex, actually, his group had an opportunity to go to Washington, D.C. with their mentor for this big conference. I think that was in March. It was amazing. Really, he had such an incredible experience with it.
Well, it sounds like it.
Yeah.
My kids wouldn't wake up.
That's right. Freshman year, you got to go early in the morning.
Early before school. Couldn't get them to do it. Anyway, but good for them.
Yeah.
Going back to, you mentioned you are a meditation teacher. Can we just touch a little bit about that? Because you're a clinical psychologist as well.
Yep.
So also very busy mom.
Yeah.
And where do you meditate? What do you do?
In my living room. But I teach with a meditation studio called Pause to Be Present. And I've been with them since they started. Cheryl Browse and Stephanie Falk are the amazing people who started. It was right before COVID. So it was that November of 2019 where we opened up right down the avenue. It's where we had the first studio. And it basically at that time it was in studio. But COVID happened, and they really made this incredible pivot to online. So we have every morning, weekly classes, daily classes, 30 minutes, where we have a different teacher each day. We introduce a topic, and we guide a meditation. And it's an amazing, beautiful community. If you're learning how to meditate or you're a seasoned meditator, it's really a nice way to tap into that and feel supported. There's an app too, so we have on demand. The app is Pause to Be Present. It's an app where all of our classes are available on demand. So anywhere you are, anytime, you can meditate.
Excuse.
Yeah, you can meditate with one of our teachers.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, make sure that you tap into that as well, because that's a really good thing to do. We should all meditate.
Oh, absolutely. It's over 10 years ago now. Gosh, my kid, it's probably about 13 years ago. I remember they were little and I knew I needed something. And I started meditating for myself because I also felt it could benefit my patients and I needed to do it myself before I shared it. So that's when I started my practice.
I would try to meditate during the pandemic, during COVID, and I would get panic attacks. And I don't think I was ready then. I would say that I have been doing it again more recently, over and over, and with my own little meditation app. And I can do it for 10 minutes every morning.
That's amazing.
And it makes me very happy. It starts my day in a really good pace and zone. And I really enjoy that. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. It really helps you regulate your nervous system in this fast-paced world that we're in, 24/7 news cycle. Like we all need that.
We do.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Amy, thank you so much for being here. For those of you who are watching and listening, I hope you really enjoyed the segment and learned some things about OCRA, about PACE, and about Sandbox. Stick around, because when we come back, Amy will share a very special tip that you will only hear here. Joe Lamberti, thank you so much for being here at the LMC Media Studio on the Ave for the Sound Shore Family Guide. Joe's here is the inventor, creator of OCRA. And tell us more about that, please.
Sure. First, I just want to say thank you to LMC Media.
Of course.
For those who don't know, it's such an amazing, wonderful community resource. So such a pleasure to be here and just a wonderful studio.
Thank you.
So as you mentioned, OCRA, which stands for Original Civic Research in Action. It's a 4-year program at Mamaroneck High School. It is the newest of the 4-year programs. It was launched in 2017. So this program is open to any freshman. You don't have to be civically minded. You really just have to be one thing, and that's curious, and that's it. So as I mentioned, it's a 4-year program. So the first year, freshmen come before school once a week. And then during the second year, it gets embedded into their schedule. And the schedule is pretty flexible. There's a lot of, the sophomore year can be a little tricky in terms of scheduling. So we offer different points during the day in which you can take OCRA. And then it stays in your schedule your junior and senior year. Again, it's treated like an elective. So, there is a grade and credit for that. But again, it's not required. But again, open to any student as long as they're simply curious. So the first year is really about understanding the community. So it's introducing students to sort of what is community, what does it mean to be a member of community, what does it mean to be a citizen, what are the responsibilities and roles of a citizen. And then we learn a little bit about the community, as I mentioned, so a little bit of the history, a little bit about how the town has changed over time, We do look at sort of the budgetary process, local government, things of that nature. And then we kind of expand it out into looking at some larger data to, again, sort of tell the story of how the community's changed over time and what that might mean in terms of future challenges.
Do you focus on Larchmont and Mamaroneck only?
So it exclusively focuses in on the town of Mamaroneck, which of course has 3 municipalities, which makes makes teaching about the town challenging. Even adults are sometimes not sure, like, which police department is my police department, who picks up my garbage.
Yeah,
it's confusing.
That's another segment.
Yeah.
So you do focus on town of Mamaroneck. Okay. And so go on. So you introduce all of these children to lots of social, political, environmental, all kinds of dynamics. They go out to the community, they interview people, they kind of get a sense for what they feel is a need, is missing, and then they come up with an idea.
Yeah, and so it's really about, again, giving them the tools, right? Giving them the skills, giving them that mindset. We talk about sort of, the civic entrepreneur mindset, that ability to look out across the landscape and through research, and I mean that in all different forms, come to understand sort of what is in front of you, what are the needs and challenges, and then going as deep as possible. And that means also then communicating out with the community itself, right? Who are the community stakeholders that I could learn through about this particular need? And then it's about sort of, going through the problem definition process. And in that process is where they also, as I mentioned, they get connected with community members who then become their community mentors in the future. And so I think that's something that's a really special component of the program, is bridging that gap between the school and the community, bridging that, or connecting, I should say, that youthful passion with that expertise and wisdom that exists in our community. And we have so much of this amazing wisdom and expertise in the community. And this is really a chance to sort of leverage that opportunity. And so as the students are, feeding that curiosity, they themselves determine, like, what is that need or issue that we want to focus on.
Like, give us an example.
Sure. So one example, I have 2 seniors right now. They became very interested in local history. And then part of that's because we teach a little bit of local history within OCRA at the beginning, but they wanted to really sort of go deep. And they spent really their second half of their sophomore year into their junior and senior years going very deep into Mamaroneck history, particularly the history around slavery, which is sort of a lesser-known part of the history here. Students often think of slavery and they think of the South, they think of the Civil War, and then that's about all they think at that point. And they wanted to kind of really bring that story to life. And so what they did, working with local historians that became their community mentors, is to develop an historic walking trail, which is now digital, and that will have corresponding signs that will get posted up in the late spring, early summer, at all the various historical sites, and people can scan that, and then they can get this backstory, which is pretty exciting. And that project involved, as I mentioned, working with local historians, working with primary resources, working with the different municipalities where those sites are located. And so it really helps students develop a certain unique skill set that you really otherwise couldn't if you were in the classroom, because it's really authentic forms of learning, and it's about public production. We're not in the classroom producing something for the student and myself. They're producing something for the community, right? It's something that they see as improving the community. So that's, I think, one example.
There are so many examples you can give because everybody that goes through your program, is it all paired, by the way? Are they all in groups, or are there some individual?
It's all group-based.
Okay, it's all group-based.
Totally. It's student-centered, group-based, project-based work.
Right. Well, again, there's so many projects and so many creative ideas out there, and they will all have to prove it in some way or another by the end of their senior year. I'm sure you have some doozies as well as a lot of success stories. And once they finish it, is it something that they take on to college? Is it something that has legs? Do they pass it off to like a younger group? I mean, what happens after that?
So lots of things happen. So in some cases, maybe that group of seniors have worked on one piece of this need, and there are other pieces that can be worked on, and younger students, will hear about these projects. Sometimes the seniors will present to them, and they're like, hey, we'd like to work on this as well. And so they pick up another thread of that. For some projects, there's like a natural end to it. They've completed in every way possible what they set out to do. In some other cases, as much as they tried to problem solve around this and pivot where they needed to pivot, it just simply just didn't work out. I know people don't necessarily like to use the word failure, but these are public works, and inevitably not everything's going to work out the way you hoped, as much as you try. But the skills they develop from that and sort of the creative confidence that comes from working on a difficult problem in and itself is the point, right? Because if we're looking to have young people continue to be civically engaged in the future, knowing how to sort of come at a complex problem with a group, I think is such an important thing.
It really is.
It really is. And you mentioned sort of college. I think that's an important thing.
It is, yeah.
So one thing I think that I've noticed, which was not my original intent, is this is something that really differentiates these students compared to other students at other high schools, because there is no OCRA in the surrounding high schools. When students are applying to school and they're writing about what they've done, it really distinguishes them from other students who are applying to the very same schools. I'm thinking of one group of students that are now juniors in college, and they had successfully moved an issue onto the ballot that voters were able to actually vote on.
Wow.
That was something I know really set them apart when they were applying to schools. One of those students ended up at the University of Michigan. He happened to join a club, and that club wanted to do a ballot measure in Ann Arbor. And someone's like, well, how do you do that? And he was like, wait a second, I've done that.
I done it,
right? And so it really is such a valuable mindset, such a valuable sort of skill set that they carry with them into college, as well as distinguish them on their way to college. So I think that's another beautiful thing that, again, I didn't anticipate, but it's been just, again, a positive sort of attribute of the program itself.
It is. I mean, I know a lot of kids who went through OCRA, and not only them, but their parents. I mean, they make a lot of us proud. Something that, like you said, distinguishes our kids that go to Mamaroneck High School compared to a lot of other kids out there. And kudos to you for running an amazing, amazing program, all the hours and energy and everything that you put into it. So thank you so much for doing what you do. Continue doing it. We're lucky to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. Hi, today we have Allison Parsley, the chair of the PACE program at the Mamaroneck High School at the Sound Shore Family Guide. So Allison, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. And tell us about PACE. And I just want to say that my daughter went through PACE, and we are so lucky to have your program in our district. And just please explain and tell us more about it.
Sure. So the PACE program, which stands for Performing Arts Curriculum Experience, is an elective program that the students can choose to take when they are at the high school. We are an integrated dance, music, and theater program, which means that all of our students take all three art forms simultaneously. So they'll rotate through different units of study within the various art forms. So they get a little bit of experience doing all three of them. We have some students who come in and they're really strong musicians and, maybe not so sure about the dance and theater component, or maybe they've been dancing since they were young and not so sure about the music and theater, or, maybe even acting in, local productions at Artistry or Sandbox, and maybe not so sure about the dance and music. But I think the thing that's really unique about our program is we're for everyone, whether somebody has been, participating in the performing arts since they were very little, whether they've never taken a performing arts class in their entire life. We are a program that really sort of embraces everybody and welcomes them into our program to study the performing arts with us.
Mm-hmm. I think one misconception is that there's if you're committing to PACE, that it's like its own separate school. Like you think of FAME or something when we were growing up, but it's not. It's one class. It's an elective.
Right. Yeah. It's one period throughout the day.
Right.
And you get to take that period with all of the students in your grade level. But in addition to that, we have some after-school productions, which are all optional. You can audition for those and be a part of those, whether it's as a cast member, on crew. And so the really nice thing about our after-school productions is that you get to mix with all the different grade levels. So everyone is together, and you really get to make friends across the different grade levels. But yeah, we're one class throughout the day that you get to take. And then, additionally, if you want to participate in our extracurricular activities, that's an option as well.
Mm-hmm. And one wonderful also thing that you have, if you do participate in PACE and you love your friends and your community that you kind of create for yourself, you also have a lot of space in that wing, kind of, right? Where people can just hang out and
So we have an incredible theater. That's our own theater, just for our PACE classes and our PACE productions. We have a lobby where a lot of the students come and hang out and have lunch, and they'll hang out there after school. We have a beautiful dance studio that has a sprung dance floor with mirrors, and we have a wonderful music studio that has ukuleles, guitars, keyboards. We have our own recording studio. We have a lot of students who come in and, students who might compose their own music and want to record it. And Mr. Derby, our music teacher, helps them get it out on Spotify, and they're releasing albums. So we really have, quite an incredible space for all of our students. And in addition to that, we have, backstage areas where our students are building our sets, painting our sets. Our students run all of our lights, and, our theater teacher, Mr. Moore, really guides them through that process as well for each of our productions. So, we really try to give that well-rounded theater experience for all of our students.
And if you have a child that plays an instrument, like in band or something, or sings in orchestra, I think that's another elective, maybe, right? Can they do both?
They can do both.
Right.
They can sign up for both. They don't meet the same periods, so that's not a problem. So yes, those students can sign up for both.
Mm-hmm. And so if you have to start freshman year and continue all the 4 years. Is it like a...
No, I mean, we would love for everyone to start as a freshman and grow with us throughout the program, but students can join the PACE program at any point they'd like. And, it's really important for us that the students are with their peers. So if you want to join PACE 3, that's typically the junior class, and you've never taken PACE before, if you want to join PACE, we're going to put you in with your peers in the junior class. So you'll skip PACE 1 and 2. You'll go straight in with, with your peers. And we really think it's important that you stick with your peers to do that. So yeah, you can join the PACE program at any time.
And do you feel that the child that wants to go to PACE, is it just pretty much anybody who likes to sing, dance, create? I
think it's anybody who just wants to be a part of something. The PACE community is a really strong community, and there are a lot of students who they come and they participate in our classes, but they don't necessarily love performing, or they're maybe not comfortable on stage. And we have a lot of students who are like that, and a lot of those students end up helping backstage. They get the classwork that we're doing, and they like participating in the classwork, but they don't love getting up on stage and performing for an audience. And so they get the classwork where they get to sort of make, those connections with their classmates. But then when it comes to showtime, they're backstage, opening and closing the curtain. They're, the one calling the lighting cues. They're on headset, backstage, making sure props are getting and set pieces are getting on and off stage. So really our program is for everybody. Anybody who just wants to feel like they're a part of something in the much larger high school. It is a big high school, and it can feel overwhelming sometimes. And sometimes PACE is just a nice, comfortable space where our students can, sort of relax, make friends, be themselves.
Well, I will just say that my daughter went through the PACE program all 4 years. She's an amazing singer, but didn't feel like she had the qualities of being a better dancer or performer, and she didn't like really performing either. But I will say that now she's a sophomore in college, and she has to stand up in front of her peers and give presentations, and I feel like that PACE just kind of set her up for success.
Yeah,
so thank you for that.
Yeah, no, you're very welcome. And it's, and that's part of our program too, is that we really want to be able to build students' confidence in a safe environment. We really pride ourselves on creating an environment where everyone feels welcome, where everyone feels comfortable stepping outside of their comfort zones. Because a lot of times we are asking our students to do things that maybe they never thought they would do. But we do have a culture within PACE where everyone is very supportive of one another. And so we're very proud of that in our program.
Well, wonderful. Well, keep doing what you're doing.
Thank
you
you
so much, Allison. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thanks. Jason's here from the Sandbox Theatre. So tell us who you are and what you all do at Sandbox.
Sure. So I am the co-owner and artistic director of the Sandbox Theatre. We have been in existence for 17 years, and our whole program is dedicated to children and teenagers and introducing them to the magic and the wonder that is theater. We have programs that focus on productions where they get to be a part of a production. They'll rehearse for 10 to 12 weeks, and then they get to be on stage in costumes with microphones and lights and sets and all of that. We also have classes that we run throughout the school year, and a huge component of what we do is also the work we do in the schools locally. We have lots of programs that we run in all the local school districts, whether it's to run the school play or just arts education in general. We have a few programs where we just go in as teachers during the school day and do some kind of arts outreach to particularly right now the Peekskill and Yonkers School District. So we are an all-year-round arts education company.
And so the Sandbox Theatre that you have here locally between, Mamaroneck, Rhinebeck, right?
Yes.
So you sign up for a semester, after-school classes, weekends. How does that work? And who do you target?
Typically,
what kind of shows do you do?
For a production, most of them are musicals. We do some non-musical plays along the way, but most of them are musicals. And you get involved by registering for a particular show. Currently, we are in rehearsals for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. We have 10 casts of children doing that show. It's about 200 kids who are involved between grades 2 and 8. And you register for a day that you can come every day, every week for 10, like I said before, 10 to 12 weeks. Our Charlie and the Chocolate Factory just started a couple of weeks ago, so they'll be in rehearsals and in performances in June. And it's 2.5 to 3 hours per rehearsal. And our goal is, again, to get them to embrace all that is theater. They learn how to sing and dance and act in an environment that we create that is as supportive and as welcoming as possible.
I'm listening, and I'm just absorbing all of it. So your oldest kids are about 8th grade?
So we run programs all the way through high school.
Okay.
So currently, our teenagers are rehearsing the musical The Producers, which is a big old over-the-top musical and probably a kind of show that they've never really experienced before, which is really exciting too. It's a kind of comedy and style of musical that not many of them have had a chance to participate in before. So that we try and do that as well with our programming. And particularly as the artistic director, my job is to try to find shows that balance all the different needs and wants, not only of our staff and what they can bring to it, but also to expose our students to as many different kinds of theater as possible. Currently, I am directing our tweens, our 5th to 8th graders, in a production of The Play That Goes Wrong, which is a non-musical, but it's a farce. And it's a very physical comedy where the whole show is about the play falling apart, and walls are falling, and props are in the wrong place, and lines are being miscommunicated. And it's a joy to watch kids 10 to 13 tackle that kind of material, because that's not something that they would normally get a chance to do. And seeing them embrace it and enjoy it and figure out, oh, that's what makes that funny. It's been a real joy. We have 6 casts of that, and they're going to be hilarious, I think, by the end of our process.
Oh my gosh, it does sound like you have a lot going on
We have
at
a
the
lot
same
going on.
time.
Yes, lots to juggle.
It sounds like it. If people want to get in touch with the Sandbox, what's the best way?
The best way is to look us up on our website, which is wstshows.com. That's our initials, Westchester Sandbox Theatre shows.com. They are welcome to email me directly. There's a way to do that on the website. All of our programs are listed pretty clearly on the website, but we're always around to answer emails, phone calls, anything like that. We embrace everyone. We want everyone to have as positive and as enlightening an experience as they can. I grew up in Westchester doing theater before there were youth theater companies. So most of my experience was in community theaters, where I was often the child actor in a production with a bunch of adults. And I tell the kids all the time that having that experience really saved me and changed my life, because being someone who was a boy who was really into theater and performance didn't really make me the most popular kid in school. So having that outlet to be able to express what I loved to do in environments that really accepted me and embraced me, that's what the Sandbox has been for me. It's been my opportunity to give back to this community what I got as a child. So that's really what our focus is.
I'm sure you just make sure that everybody feels good when they go there. And
that's what it's about.
It's all about positivity and acceptance. And
because we have enough negativity in the world. They don't need any more of that. That's what it's really about. And we try to hold them to a high standard and give them expectations too, so that they can rise to challenges and help them grow, not only as performers, but hopefully as people too.
Well, it sounds wonderful. I mean, you've been around for how many years?
17 years.
I mean, that says a lot.
And we're grateful every day. Absolutely.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much. Cheers to another 17, at least,
thank you.
If not more.
I appreciate it.
And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for talking with me.
Of course, thank you. Amy, thank you so much for being here and for sticking around and sharing with our community a fabulous tip that you can only hear here.
Okay, well, I guess for me what's been very helpful is there's an app that it has the schedule from the high school. I don't know what it's called. It's just the schedule app. Do you know what it's called?
I don't, but I know that any upperclassman can inform you of what that app is, or even when you go for New Students Day or something like that, make sure that you ask.
Yeah, because it gives you your kid's schedule every single day.
For the high school.
For the high school. The schedule changes every day. So, for example, this past really springtime, Ethan's had like this injury. He needs to go to PT. I have to schedule that. I need to know which day is his free, at the end of the day, when does he leave, what time, right? And that app.
You got that app.
That app helps me do it. I don't even have to talk to him. I
Isn't
just
that wonderful?
look it up and I schedule it. Yep.
Very, very true. I remember that my daughter first saw that schedule and had a panic attack before starting freshman year of high school. And we were like, everybody's in the same boat. Download the app.
Yeah.
And then I think the next day she went and everything just clicked.
Yeah.
So to your point, very well said. Very, very true. Yes, it's a very important thing. And actually somebody from the high school designed and created that app, who I think still has to maintain it and update it every year. So I forgot your name, but thank you for that.
Yes, thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay tuned for the next one.
Visit lmcmedia.org/family guide to get more information and find other episodes. LMC Media is a nonprofit media center. Follow us on socials at LMC Media Center and subscribe to our YouTube channel at LMC Media Productions to see more content.